Thanks very much for staying with us. Time now for Eye on Africa with me, Georgia Calvin-Smith. Tonight, Nigeria's upper house votes to weaken the power of the presidency and strengthen the legislature. The move comes as President Buhari remains out of the country. Some have dubbed it a power grab. Also, diamonds are Namibia's biggest source of income, but the gems are becoming increasingly difficult to find in the Namib Desert. Now, mining companies are heading out to sea in search of the precious stones. And Rwanda is hoping that a recent conservation push to protect the endangered mountain gorilla will help boost tourism. The country is trying to entice not only animal lovers, but also those with cash to splash. But first, Nigeria's upper house voted on Wednesday to reduce the power of the presidency and lower the age limit for the position from 40 to 35. It comes after hundreds of young people marched on Tuesday calling for the removal of age barriers on top political posts. Other amendments passed by the upper house include providing certain legal immunity to members of the legislature and reducing the head of state's ability to withhold assent for a bill passed by Parliament. The proposed constitutional changes are the latest twist in a power struggle between the presidency and the legislature. Dr. Okuha Okiwo from the University of Port Harcourt tells us more about the significance of proposed amendments that President Buhari is unlikely ever to sign into law.
It is not just a gesture, it's significant. And just to make the point that the quest for the reduction of the powers of the presidency has been a long-standing position by different Nigerian actors over time. The perception has been that the Nigerian presidency is very, very strong, that a lot of powers are concentrated in that particular institution, and that this partly accounts for the strong contestation by actors to have that position, and that has had some destabilizing consequences for the Nigerian polity. It would seem that during this period where we've had the president abroad and that, the ruling party is yet to fully consolidate its hold on the political system and have control of its own membership, that these long-standing agitation for reduced powers of the presidency, especially in relation to the National Assembly, seem to have moved rather fast, as you've not had an equivalent strong pushback from the executive.
So can much, though, be read into this happening whilst Buhari is still out of the country? Why is it happening now? And what does it say about Buhari's relationship with Nigerian lawmakers?
The lawmakers, well, it's important to note that these need not be personalized in terms of the current presidency of Buhari. Like I said, it's been a long-standing agitation to do this. But over the past 16 years, the dominant party, the People's Democratic Party, appeared to have a stronger hold on the Nigerian National Assembly, and the presidents under those dispensations had appeared to have a stronger hold on their legislators. It seemed to be less so under the current evolving All Progressive Congress, which, became the dominant party in 2015.
Dr. Okuha Okiwa there, speaking to us a little earlier on. Well, staying with Nigeria, in other news, Nigeria's President, Muhammadu Buhari, remains out of the country. On Wednesday, 7 state governors travelled to the High Commission in London to visit the leader, who's in the city being treated for an undisclosed condition. Buhari last left Abuja in early May and handed over power to his deputy Yemi Osinbajo in the interim. This week, the presidency insisted that Buhari would be returning to his official duties once he gets the all-clear from doctors. At least 8 people were killed in Lagos after a 4-story building collapsed in the Nigerian commercial hub. The structure crumbled amidst heavy rains on Tuesday. Emergency services say that they managed to pull 15 people from the rubble. Locals have suggested that a heavy telecoms mast on the roof may have contributed to the disaster, as they'd previously seen cracks in the building before it came down. The UN said that Congolese military elements are responsible for digging at least 42 mass graves in 3 provinces in the central Congolese region of Kasai. The gruesome discoveries come amidst clashes with alleged militia members. The UN's warned that human rights have deteriorated alarmingly because of disproportionate repression of a militant group called the Kamwina Sapu by Congolese defense forces. Soldiers have allegedly killed more than 428 people around Kasai since June. On Wednesday, the UN also appointed 3 new experts to look into a crisis that has displaced more than 1 million people. To Namibia now, and diamonds there are its biggest source of income. But the number of precious stones under the Namib Desert is dwindling. Mining companies have started turning to the oceans in search of the gems. Take a look.
The Butcher is a 300-ton mega machine that trawls the ocean bed in search of diamonds off the coast of Namibia. For diamond giant De Beers, the stones on the Atlantic seabed represent the future, as onshore mines give up the last of their treasures.
The operations onshore are at a crossroads. We believe that there's still value in diamonds to be extracted onshore. It will require massive capital investment.
Massive cash injections were needed, not least to build Mafuta, a ship which sucks up sediment on the ocean floor using a vast pipe. The diamonds are filtered out and transferred to retention cans, without the need for any direct human involvement. Those on board have to cope with extreme weather conditions while trying to minimize the damage done to the seabed.
There is disturbance, but the natural events around us are far in excess, and the rehabilitation period is fairly short.
Undersea extraction produced 1.2 million carats in 2016, 2/3 of Namibia's total haul. But the partnership between the Namibian authorities and De Beers has faced criticism. Namibian diamonds are better quality and sell for higher prices than stones from neighboring countries. Kennedy Hamutenya runs a state firm which sells a small number of diamonds to bolster the government's coffers.
De Beers, they promote their own brand, but they use our stones to promote their brand. Yeah. Now we want to create a very strong brand when people are wearing it to know this comes from Namibia.
Despite the tensions, Namibia has renewed its partnership with De Beers for 10 years. It's a deal that brings in the country's biggest tax revenues, as much as 200 million euros last year alone.
Well, Rwanda's hoping that a recent conservation push to protect the endangered mountain gorilla will help boost tourism. The country is trying to capitalise on its success, not only with animal lovers, but also with those with cash to splash.
They're one of the major attractions of the region, the gorillas of the Virunga National Park, the world's last sanctuary for this endangered species. Thanks to recent conservation efforts, there are now close to 900 of them in Rwanda, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Uganda. To protect them further, Rwanda is seeking to draw wealthier visitors.
So our strategy is to develop a high-end tourism market, because our tourism is very much based on natural resources, and we're very serious about conservation of our natural resources.
In Rwanda since May, the park entrance fee has doubled. It now costs $1,500. In Uganda, the fee is just $600, and in the DRC, $400. Rwandan authorities want to limit the number of visitors while offering high-standard service. But some say the price hike will do more harm than good.
And that would be a drawback. I think it's going to be like just for an elite of people that can pay that. As I said, if you to the fee, you have to think in hotels, airplanes, and so on. It's going to be a huge amount of money to get to Rwanda to see the gorillas.
On average, foreign tourists spend just 4 days in the country, long enough for a trek in the mountains and a trip to the genocide memorial in Kigali.
Well, that's it for Eye on Africa for now. Thanks very much for joining us. Do so again. Take care. Namibia.